Boys and girls, we got something new and exciting here at Dirtbox Overland. Not new, it's been around since the Model T, but it's a new flatbed for us. This is our new series flatbed for pretty much everything. This one in particular is gonna be good for a 3/4 ton and 1 ton Chevy, Dodge, Ram, something around a 6'7" bed this will fit. This is a fundamentally new design from what we've been doing on our other stuff in the fact that we don't have the slide out drawer system. We have lowered this so our actual height here is the same as your factory bed. The overall length is approximately the same overall length if you include your bumper from your factory bed on around a 6.5+ foot 3/4 or 1 ton truck. Overall width, approximately the same. Slightly wider, a little wider on Ford, maybe 2 inches per side wider on a Ford. The Ram is pretty close to even being on that guy. What we've changed on this guy is, again, the lower height. This allows a sliding camper like a 4-wheel camper or another manufacturer like that. What's really trick with it is you've got the main flatbed assembly that is all modular. This is our typical extruded aluminum framework throughout the whole thing. And this is a much heavier framework. You can order this from us specifically with a 5th wheel or gooseneck hitch as well that can be integrated into this guy. This one is a gasoline variant that is going to be going on a big trip to Alaska. So you'll notice it doesn't have the DEF fill, it just has a fuel fill port on one side. But what's neat too, this whole assembly here, the extra toolboxes left and right, these are removable. So it can be a flatbed, it can be a flatbed with sides, it can be a flatbed with the toolboxes, but it could also be set up with our canopy camper, can sit right on top of this. These are more of a custom deal whenever you're gonna get into the budget of something like this. Obviously, we're gonna plan and build it specifically for your vehicle, more or less, but then also for your operation, if it's gonna be the camper, sliding camper, work body, etc. Another nice thing that's been done too, this is where your blind spot sensor is gonna be located. So this is compatible with your blind spot sensor stuff. That's not easy. All the new vehicles have got that. Let's face it, they're gonna be around to stay, so we've incorporated in there. Beautiful taillight setup. This whole rear section is replaceable. Again, the upper section is replaceable. The frame is a T6 extruded aluminum framework through the whole deal. Because we don't do as much welding on this guy, we're able to go ahead and keep that strength of that aluminum. When you go to a fully formed and welded aluminum flatbed, you have to go with a lower grade aluminum. I shouldn't say lower grade, but just a lower tensile aluminum in order to make those breaks and folds. If you go to the heavier framework, or call it a harder framework, I should say, like a T6, which is definitely stronger, has good flexible characteristics to it, cycling and all that. That's why you see mountain bike frames and all that back in the day were done in T6. Same thing with aircraft stuff. As soon as you weld the T6 portion there, you've lost that T6 hardness. So therefore, by building this whole unit with the least amount of weld possible, especially in particular with framework, that's what we achieve. There is still some welded components in there, absolutely, but we've also beefed up those extrusions to allow that. So I'll go ahead and just kind of show you. We got a nice beveled edge through here. Again, typical Dirtbox fashion. Nice storage all the way through. We've improved the seal, not like we had any issues in the previous one, but this one's tighter yet. We've got your nice little drawer down through here. There'll be a cable stop. If you want, you can have an extra shelf in there and or lighting. Rain gutters that run through and taper to the outside, so that's a nice setup as well. You have the compression latches. You also have, we kind of dressed it up a little bit with the fender that now goes up into the actual bed itself, because I'll show you an overhead view of the way this thing looks as far as the framework goes, but where our fender is, if this gets damaged, this could also, the rivets can be drilled out and this can be exchanged. Same thing with your box. If you damage this box, you back into a corner, that can be exchanged. Same thing with the taillight assembly. You back into something on that, that could also be exchanged. Modularity is the key with our flatbeds, because this also is going to be able to carry over into our pass-through canopy camper box, regular box, the mullet, which is our half box, half pickup truck, hybrid, all that stuff. You've also got a nice little storage compartment up front. You know, nothing overly special, just nice, clean, pretty stuff through there. Some goodies hiding inside that. And then I'll just might as well open them all up. Boom, shaka laka, boom, boom. So imagine on your Overland rig, you've got your, say it's a 4-wheel camper, say whatever. That's gonna be sitting inside this. Now you've got all your storage throughout here, plus what's in your camper. Or if you want to go bump it up a level with Dirtbox components, this can also, like I said, be set up as a habitat with a canopy camper that's going to go right on top of that. That's really trick, because now you can open up the sides, get your gear here, store gear there, pass through tent camper. Pretty nice. Let's go around more towards the back and I'll kind of show you some of the extrusions that are made for mounting, which makes this really nice as well. So instead of having separate tie points, we've actually got extruded rails that run the whole length of this guy here. Those rails are tied into the main framework. So this is how you can tie down your camper or just tie down your load. There's a slot here, T-bolts go in there, and you can put, like I said, I-bolts, whatever you need for fastening your gear down on that. The other nice thing too, we did this aluminum deck here, countersunk with the rivets, so as you're sliding gear in and out, it's not hanging up in those heads. Also, if this gets damaged, say it is a work vehicle, work truck, you can drill those out and we can give you a new sheet to replace this with. Very nice. The level of attention to detail on this one from our previous series is along the same parallels as like our Genesis canopy camper towards our regular Dirtbox canopy camper. This is definitely more of a higher end unit, but it also keeps that modularity in place. You'll notice we have, instead of our regular textured powder coat sheen, we've gone with our more of a glossy sheen like we do with our Genesis units on this. But nice setup through here. This whole unit as it sits is sitting at around 600 pounds. And that's for a full-size pickup truck, 3/4 ton, 1 ton. We could also make it for the smaller vehicles as well. But right now, this guy is gonna be going on the big boys. So headache rack is also modular. There's extrusions on the top, have T-slots everywhere. So you can put auxiliary lights, auxiliary this, that, whatever needs to get bolted on there. One thing that we've also done with the headache rack, cross section of that rack is a little bit bigger this direction to handle loads pushing up against it. Huge T-slots everywhere, lights, fire extinguishers, etc. This section through here where your fuel pickup or fill is, that's modular, that comes right off the face, can be exchanged. The plumbing runs down through here. We have nice little cutouts to allow you to run your hoses through there. Same deal, big extrusion running through here, and then angular brackets that are double broken, 2 different angles to give us some more strength on that. So across the whole front section of this thing is similar, but beefier and a little bit more elegant at the same time. Okay, again, since this is the big boy truck, 3/4 ton, 1 ton, I know there's 550s and all that fun stuff, but for now, we're gonna call this the big boy truck. The beef that's put into this, these brackets folded over, broken around, laser cut, multiple points of fastener contact. So we're in shear here and in shear this direction. Everything is gauged up heavier for the 3/4 and 1 ton truck. If you end up going with a 1/2 ton truck, or just say we end up doing this for your Gladiator, the gauges will be scaled down. We'll still carry the same principle, engineering principle behind it, but we'll scale down the material thickness and whatnot, so it's more appropriate for the load carrying of your vehicle. All right, you guys, pretty much to sum it up, the new Dirtbox Overland flatbed for the heavy truck series is beautiful, elegant, a little bit more beef, a little more attention to detail and fit and finish. Drawers that are more just as modular, but this guy in particular, we've never really addressed the big boy trucks, and this is the one that's gonna actually do that. We have also designed this specifically. A lot of people that have been building flatbeds have been building them with a low deck height. We've always had the higher deck height because of a big 20-gallon water tank and a rollout drawer. Now we've gone ahead, addressed that, lowered it down so you can put in your slide-in camper on what I feel is a far superior unit across the board. As far as the engineering, the execution, all the above, and also the aesthetic, which is obviously important. But overall, beautiful unit, lightweight, durable, and modular, so you can now upfit this thing as your mission profile changes. The other beautiful thing is this is not dedicated to just one truck. Just say you were all hot and bothered about a Ford this first 3 years and you end up going to a Ram or something like that. Because of the modularity of this unit, we can remove and change the lower components so it could fit a different vehicle, and there's a different fit kit for the frame members on there. That is a hard thing for anybody else to say they can do. So overall, Dirtbox Overland's new series flatbed is top of the line.